mile. Guys right has the area.
Roger, we have the area. Hoist operator has the con.
Check, guys right have the con. You clear right, move forward.
Hank, a real privilege to be in conversation with you here at Cougar. We spoke to a lot of folks here, and I got to tell you, what a wonderful time we're having with the Cougar team. But tell me about yourself, your name and what you do here.
Hank Williams, I'm the Chief Operating Officer here at Cougar. I've been with Cougar for 26 years, so most of all my life in aviation has been around Cougar and helicopters. Moved into St. John's 30 years ago. Actually moved in from a small town called Triton into St. John's. Got hooked on aviation. They say once you get the smell of jet fuel in your nostrils, you don't want to do anything else. So still enjoying it 26 years later.
Listen, we've had an incredible conversation with some of the search and rescue specialists on the Cougar team, and I want to tell you, man, they're an impressive group of people. Tell me what that team means to you.
Well, if I can start off a little bit first and tell you about the role we play for the offshore oil and gas here is passenger movement, and there's a SAR component to our mandate for the oil and gas. And in 1997, when we first started work with Hibernia, part of the contract and the scope of work was that we had to provide a search and rescue component. At that time, of course, 103 with the Labrador helicopters was based in Gander, so the time to get to the site, so it was deemed that search and rescue was necessary. So we did that for a number of years. And there's a term I used to use, I think, right up until 2010, and this was after the Judge Wells inquiry into the accident here with 491. There was an all new way of looking at SAR. I refer to it as we did passive SAR up to that, but in 2010, the oil and gas companies, part of the contract was we had dedicated aircraft, we had dedicated crews. We went from 1 hour response time, and today we're at 20 minutes response time. So very proud of the old environment of search and rescue here with Cougar to the oil and gas. The team has a well-experienced group of people, a lot of ex-military people in our organization that comes with that experience and that expertise. And we've been able to, home grow some, and we're continuing to do that, especially with the search and rescue technicians. And as you guys have seen the mission simulator that's here, that will all be a part of recruitment and growing our own breed of search and rescue people that we're very proud of. And I think sometimes you always feel good about your team, and sometimes they're validated by people like yourself coming in. And I think the best phrase I heard one time made me feel really good. We had an audit by a team called the Squadron out of the U.S. came in and did a full-blown audit on us, all of our procedures, our aircraft, our equipment. And the closing statement that guy made, he said, if I was in distress out in that water, I would want the blue and white at Cougar Helicopters to come and rescue me. So that made me feel proud.
Oh, that sure would. I mean, and it must feel wonderful to see that helicopter come over the horizon when you really need it.
Yeah.
We spoke to some of your team members about the memorable search and rescues that they made, and you could tell in their eyes that they truly are making an impact. Cougar's a part of the fabric of the SAR community largely. Talk to me about that.
Yeah, big time. And as I mentioned, the search and rescue posture and equipment and everything we have here is contracted to the oil and gas. But having an asset like Cougar has here with search and rescue, we sometimes get called for missions that we refer to as civilian missions. It's a little bit difficult sometimes because they may be on a different part of the island, but yet we can't ignore our commitment and obligation to the oil and gas. So search and rescue is, as you said, it's such a fabric here, and all the people around that see us flying all the time and training all the time, they're quite happy to see that right in our backyard we have this kind of capabilities for search and rescue in the event something goes wrong.
You talked about homegrown talent, and one of the things we spoke to with your team is about an innovative way of training here at Cougar. Now with a new simulator, you're looking at training differently, you're approaching it differently, you're creating a trajectory to train the next generation of SAR specialists. Talk to me a little bit about your vision on innovation in training.
Well, you know, and a gentleman much wiser than me one time said that training in the aircraft, you're simulating it because you're going to pretend there's an engine failure. You're going to pretend this. Training in a simulator, you get real training.
Right.
So Cougar's been a big believer in simulator training, and of course, any risky training that you can take out of the live aircraft and bring it into a simulator, you know, the risk level goes way down. But we see, you know, great advances with this here. As I mentioned, like if I was, and I've had people ask me this, you know, I'm a young 18, 19-year-old, and I'd really love to get into search and rescue. You know, they can't go through a program or a school here in St. John's or anywhere in Newfoundland where I can get training to be a search and rescue technicians. So now we want to develop our own syllabus, our own training program, and with the inclusion of the simulator, it just makes it more possible to take individuals who has the right, because to be a search and rescue technician, you know, you have to have the right mentality of that adrenaline of saving lives, and that's what it's all about, saving lives. So we see the simulator as an opportunity to take people that have some experience, that might be a paramedic today but would want to get into this, might be a firefighter today but would like to get into this type of business, and take the old program and build our own right from scratch.
You know, we talked to the team members here at Cougar about, you know, to talk about their job and look at it through the lens of somebody else that might be interested in this career, and to watch their eyes light up when they talk, not unlike what you just did, and your eyes lighting up as you talked about it. It's pretty amazing to know that Cougar is building a training platform, a model, a vision of creating this talent right here, and then shipping that around the world, taking that model and saying, hey, folks, come to us. We've got a model here.
And as you know, Cougar doesn't fly in weather like they get in Miami, Florida somewhere. We're always in harsh environments. For example, we've done search and rescue in the Arctic, Tuktoyaktuk, Barrow. So all of these areas that are tough, challenging, harsh weather specialists. And you've been around the search and rescue guys here for a couple of days right now. And I always say, when that SAR alarm goes, it's like an adrenaline rush. These guys, you know what they've been trained for, and they want to use their training. The most disappointed I see sometimes when there's a mission, we're on the go, but then we find out, no, it's been transferred. 103 might be taken. They go, they wanted to get out there and do it and use their expertise.
Well, there's no doubt about it. They're making a difference. You're making a difference. Thanks very much for the conversation today.
Thank you.